me say good morning to our listeners. Good morning to viewers of Class and listeners of Classic Radio and viewers of GBN TV. Good morning and welcome. It's Thursday. It's the 4th day of December. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. You know, on Thursdays, I'm sort of mixing up my days today for some reason or the other. We do host various departments within the RGPF, and today we do have the Criminal Investigation Department. And we're speaking this morning. You know, the Utah season is upon us. It's almost upon us. In a couple of weeks or so, we should be celebrating Christmas. So, of course, they are taking the opportunity to talk to us this morning in relation to prioritizing your home, your business, and your personal safety. That's going to be the range of our conversation this morning. Let me say good morning to, of course, my guests. Good morning, good morning. I remember Mr. Kutian's name. Good morning to you, sir. Am I right about that?
Great.
Good morning to you. I had both of you in studio already, but somehow name slips me. I'm the worst with names. Forgive me for that.
I'm Nilan Finley, attached to the Digital Forensics Unit, all Detective right. Constable number 80.
All right.
And good morning. I'm Alvon and Dominique, attached to the Special Victims Unit.
All right, great. Well, welcome once again, and hope all is well with everyone this morning. Everybody's in the Christmas season. I find everybody is cold like everybody else.
So far, so good.
All right. So, as mentioned in the intro, our conversation, of course, will be based around prioritizing home, business, and personal safety. The question to get the ball rolling this morning, why is it important? I'm not sure who's going to answer that. Why is it important to make sure that your home, your business, and individuals in their personal capacity, put a lot of emphasis on safety?
All right, so maybe I will lead by opening on this salient issue. See, what we recognize from a CID perspective, right, and even before that to recognize that CID have several sub-offices or departments, Special Victims Unit, Digital Forensic Unit, and we have the Criminal Records Office or Crime Scene Specialists, right, and from our seat, our office, or where we operate, we recognize that once you have your safety violated, removed from you, your home is intruded, your business place is intruded, it creates a psychological effect on you. Together with that, the great inconvenience you would have with damage, replacement, loss of property, and even loss of life possible. And if you speak on the sexual aspect of things, we know how traumatizing that can be. So hence the reason why time like these we want to re-emphasize and make it known, remind the general public, ourselves, our family, our loved one, of the importance of prioritizing home, business, and personal safety. Right? It's something that we can never really overlook and we never stop emphasizing on. And even so, for this period, we do recognize that people are in a jolly spirit, and for whatever reason they become complacent, a little more careless in comparison to months before, weeks before. In a time where we have a greater intake of alcohol, we have more activity, it was festive period, we recognize that, and because of that, we would not do things that we ought to do in respect to our business safety, in respect to our personal safety, and our home security.
Why is it so that's important, of course, and I know you're going to chime in on that, but I just want to get at it, and probably you could get it. Dropping our guard around this time of the year sometimes seems to be something that a lot of folks do. It just happens for various reasons. You did mention that, we just think, well, it's Christmas, we're going to have a jolly good time, and I'm not bothering if I leave my house and I forget to lock the door. I'm leaving my house because, well, the guys outside are having a good time, and I leave this window open, and it's in a particular part of the house that is easily accessible. Business people, for some reason, you have numerous individuals are patronizing their business establishment, and for some reasons, well, I'll be open and say the dollars are coming quick.
So
for some reason
focus are shifting.
Their focus are shifting, and there are individuals who may come to your business establishment for their own purpose other than purchasing what you're selling or whatever, Also, we will talk about individuals who go out to events, female as well as male. Yes. Going out to events and they drop their guard.
Children
are left at home. And parents, for some reason, I think he's been keeping himself quiet for the last couple of weeks, so I could probably leave him alone or alone again, and not knowing the individuals who are waiting to prey on these individuals.
Correct.
So our intention this morning is to get folks to start thinking in a way that, safety is important across the board. Across the board. Anything you want to identify, sir?
Yes, I'd just like to add to what my colleague stated about properties, securing your properties, your homes, your businesses, etc. So too, online safety also matters, especially with the festive season, which is rapidly approaching on us, correct? So the shopping, you will see increase in person shopping online. There might be different forms of promotions, going wrong, and so forth. So online safety also matters because it protects, persons, from the personal information, like, your banking information, your debit card, your credit card, even, your reputation. And it is important, because one, it keeps your devices, safe, like safe browsing, getting into the habit of, knowing what size of browse through, or maybe
not if the deal sounds so good to be true. It's always good to double check that particular deal.
Right. Yes. So I was just coming to that. So also it guards you against scams and fraud, as it rightly stated. Yeah. Especially around now, the scammers, the bad actors will tend to use this opportunity since they know that persons will, or they're looking for the great deals. We had the Black Friday sale. You have the Cyber Monday sales, etc. And from various reputable establishments like the Amazon, the eBay, just to name a few, where lots of shopping takes place online. Also it as I said, it protects your reputation, your businesses, etc. So it's also important, also where safety is concerned, speaking about as online safety, also for especially during the Christmas season. I
wanna still keep it you for a wee bit as we switch to, of course, the online safety. How can individuals identify that, as I mentioned, a deal is too good to be true sometimes? And how can they identify that whatever deals that they see online, they are not being scammed? What are ways individuals can identify that?
Okay, so first and foremost, you can always verify. So let's take for instance, you may see a deal from a company, right? Let's say probably Digicel or whatnot. And you might, they might say, okay, click a particular link and get a chance, to win sometime monetary, funds, etc., or some other, maybe a device, or so forth. Always verify first. So that's one. Make sure you verify. You can always reach out to them to say, hey, look, I've seen this on, let's say, Facebook, because the scammers might tend to use even on social media. People are always browsing on Facebook to use these media platforms to actually advertise their promotion. You can always tend to verify. Two, you can always pay attention to the address. Once that the address, but there might be some form of misspelled word, or maybe you might be familiar with the URL, the address, and you can always examine it to there will be some difference in the character.
So see if you've been redirected in some way or the other.
Exactly. So that these are those ways that you can always identify. Next thing also, the way you can identify scams. Let's say I'll use my colleague here as an example. He might send me a link saying, "Hey, bro, look, I have won, let's say, $3,000, and it's really, really authentic, and because I've seen it, that actually happened to me. I was like,
I get one this morning.
I was like, no. Knowing my colleague here, there might be a particular way in which we might greet each other.
Yes.
All of a sudden, very, very formal look, click that, look what I've won. So all this could be also a red flag that
money draws attention,
and which could actually draw attention.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand a whole lot. So it's important that folks, pay attention to these things, and certainly we'll continue more with the conversation when we come back. Stay with us, folks. We do for a break. Let's take when we come back. We continue with our conversation. You stay with us. It's To The Point Classic Radio, GBN TV.
When you need your prescription.
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe Plainfield, Saturday 21st and Sunday 22nd December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it. Grenada! Get ready to celebrate culture, creativity, and community. It's the Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sotes Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sotes. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th, it's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sotes Bus Terminal, Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture
in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
Grenada Get Ready. GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly presents Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0. No better place to be. Be there.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point Classic Radio, GBN TV, for today, Thursday, the 4th day of December. And let's continue with our conversation this morning. Of course, we had a lone female officer with us this morning. We give her a chance to talk about in relation to her particular, the particular department that she's a part of. You know, we spoke about in just briefly, and we're certainly going to get more detail. We talk about the digital world and how your safety is important there, your personal property, and so forth. We mentioned that briefly also. Now, individuals, and we did mention that slightly in the intro. You know, individuals going out to events, female especially children. We mentioned that briefly. So we'll give you the opportunity to talk to our listeners and viewing audience, or listening and viewing audience this morning, in reference to the safety that they should pay a lot of and the precaution that they should take, of course, when attending events, or just that normal safety that they should pay a lot of attention to as they go through the season.
Okay, so Christmas season is one of the busiest time of the year, right? School is on vacation. There's a lot of events happening, right? Parents tend to leave their children at home with other children. That's a no-no. You're supposed to know who you're leaving your child with also. If your child having a sleepover, you make sure you do the background check of the family that they're going over to sleep by, right?
It may not always be family, too.
Yeah, family and friends.
Yes.
Also, for the adults, if you're going to parties, it's important that you're traveling a group. If you're indulging in alcohol, know your limits, right? Also, if you're walking in you have to walk to go somewhere, you practice safety. Don't have your head down in your phone texting if you're walking in dark alleyways. That creates opportunity for offenders to take advantage of you. Right?
Why is it important for individuals to adhere to these particular safety procedures, or reason that they should really pay attention to that as individuals? So, sometimes people are going to the event, they hear what we have just mentioned, but sometimes they don't think it's for real. I'm living in Grenada, nothing does happen. That's the kind of thought pattern we kind of think sometimes. Or we hear of other countries where people are walking and things happening. I'm not saying it may never happen in Grenada, but you just never know. So how is it important for folks to really, have a lot of that particular thinking pattern when they go out? We don't want you to be walking the wrong way and thinking that something's going to happen to you. But it's important that you always know that, yes, I do things that would protect myself. How important is that?
So, offenses like sexual offenses, assault, robbery, those offenses occur when the offenders believe that they have the opportunity to do so. Yeah. So it's important that you practice this safety so that you eliminate that opportunity, so that you become a hard target. Yes.
Right. When you say hard target, define that a little bit for me. If someone is listening right now and they will say, that may be a hard target. Well, when you define that a wee bit for me.
Right. So hard target is simply raising the level of difficulty for an offender to cause harm to you or to violate you.
All right. So which means now I am in a lonely area as a female. Yeah, I'm not one, but
as a male,
I'm in a lonely as a female. I do things that will create, of course, others, probably someone in our surroundings who in a nearby surroundings may hear me. Some folks may think it's weird. You sometimes hear people walking and they're singing. You understand? Or they may be playing their phone, may be playing at a certain level, which is not always the best, because sometimes you don't hear who's attacking you because your headphones are walking around with headphones and stuff like that. Why is it that folks should not, do these things, especially when they're in lonely areas?
So if you're doing that, you're distracted, you're not aware of your environment, you're unable to see what's happening around you. So if someone is trying to attack you, you won't even see the attacker because you're distracted.
I want us to focus a little bit also on parents and children, because you mentioned it and you spoke about it briefly. What are some of the advice you would like to give to parents, especially when they're leaving their youngsters at home? We did talk about making sure that whoever they're leaving them with is someone they know and an individual that they trust. What other advice would you like to offer to parents with youngsters leaving them at home?
Right. So in terms of, I'll go to online safety. Monitor the devices, right? So you leave them at home, and they have the electronic devices.
Yes.
You can set up parental control on your phone, so you could view what they're participating in online, right? Yeah. So you have an idea as to what it is that they're doing at home. Make sure that they're not making plans to leave the house and go online while you're out as well. Also, check in on them while you're out. Make sure they're good at home, and the person that you're leaving them with is a responsible person as well.
All right. there's always that particular prevalent crime that occurs to individuals around this time of the year. I mean, sometimes it's not only seasonal. You know, these things can happen anytime. Particular crimes that may happen. What are some of these crimes that maybe you could alert individuals to, that they should look out for individuals maybe wanting to make them making them become victims of that?
Okay, so crimes like rape.
Yeah.
That happens during the season because, as we spoke about partying, people consuming alcohol, and they don't know the limits, and people tend to take advantage of you when you're in a vulnerable state. And so we tend to see rape, we see sexual assault, we see violation of privacy is one of the things we see as well. It's very important that I draw reference to that, because recently we've seen an increase in the offense of violation of privacy.
Yeah.
And so we want to advise persons, do not share those sort of photos, nude photos and so on, with other persons, and also do not record persons in those vulnerable positions and share it with other persons.
Okay. Anybody want to add anything to that? You want to add anything technical to it?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so much we can say, to be honest with you. And I love the idea of Ms. Dominic would have spoke about the prevalent offenses in regards to sexual offense. Right, which is clearly sexual intercourse with a female person between the age of 13 and 16, right, and that to do with the unlawful sexual interaction, right, and it's a fact on the cyber aspect of it that the prevalent offenses is the violation of privacy, right, of explicit contents, right, and that could be simply just having someone in the undergarment.
Yeah.
You know, you take a photograph of them, unknowing to them, or even knowing to them, but you shared it with someone without their consent, or you shared it with a WhatsApp group. And what we have seen many times too, I mean, not to stray from the whole issue of security, but it's also security, right, that we always have to keep in mind, that we see a lot of times that person may receive through WhatsApp groups violation of someone's privacy of explicit contents, and they would share it for amusement purpose. Hey, look who I see. That is something we discourage. We don't want that to be a case, because the penalty for it is very, very severe, and it's our responsibility to know what the law says. It's our civil responsibility to do the right thing. And when we come over to the whole aspect of safety of property businesses, the prevalent offense that we have seen is housebreaking and stealing generally. Right, whether it be shoplifting, whether it be stealing from a person or robbery violence, stealing offenses and housebreaking are the most prevalent offenses that we have seen, and even more so during this period. Hence the reason why we must re-emphasize on the importance of these security. You know, not being too complacent.
How important is individuals to protect their property, especially from these offenses? How important it is?
Very important. It's imperative. You know,
well, I say how important because we know it's important. But there are people who sometimes, for various reasons, drop their guard. And I say how important it is because of the fact that just letting people know that they shouldn't drop their guard for any reason at all.
So let me see it from this angle, right? Even just yesterday, a couple of my officers, make some business check, and what we have observed is this. As I said, stealing, shoplifting is one of the prevalent offenses, more so during this period, right? And what we observe is this, that they have an influx of patrons, customers, and we see that the business owners, even the employees, are not so vigilant, aware and focused as to the person coming in and people going out. And because of that, now, trust me, someone who has the desire to steal has an extra ability. They know where to look, when to do something. And if you being a business owner, an employee, and you not forever focused and vigilant, you would not see that person taking the opportunity when you slip up. And that affects you.
Yes.
You won't get the money you need to get. And even to sometimes the inconvenience of criminal processing. sometimes it's necessary, but there is an inconvenience.
Because your business, we have to
start
business for a couple of minutes. A couple of minutes could be days at a time sometimes.
And even to what we have seen with respect to businesses is that they may observe and trivialize the observation of some suspicious activity. By that, they might see someone come into the shop not to purchase anything. And obviously their behavior is different than an ordinary customer who really genuinely looking for something. And you fail to recognize the importance of taking notes and share that information to law enforcement.
Okay, that particular individual who comes to prey on you may just say, I'm browsing your business establishment. But he may browse today and wants to come back tomorrow.
Or come back tonight.
Because he saw the flaws and weaknesses of how your business establishment is set up.
And
he say, well, I'll come back tomorrow.
And here's some of the flaws. Some of the flaws might be simple this. Realize that you're storing your cash in your cashier, large sums. And you're not depositing it as you go. They might realize now, okay, you have some flyers obscuring the view, so I can come and break and nobody see me outside. Realize you have a camera or no camera. If you have a camera, it's in a position that doesn't provide proper coverage. So they're doing all this surveillance. They're working smart. And we, the property owners, whether it be homeowners, business owners, we fail to recognize these flaws. And the person comes in, you know, not being vigilant, did not take note of that. In so doing, to prevent it from happening. So there's many ways to look at it, but it's very important that we have this discussion, even more so at this period.
We drew for a break. You wanted to add something? Let's hear from your point before we take that break.
Just to add some points also. Some of the common threats that we can see online, especially during as we are in the Christmas season, which we have to be very mindful of. So I stated that the scammers out there, they are well aware of people, what is going on, so to speak, in terms of the online traffic or the online activities. When do people tend to shop the most online? So some of the common threats that you can find around the Christmas season, the fishing. And when I say fishing, I'm not referring to the one where you go to the beach or the river, you throw your line and you catch, fishes, but I'm referring to the fake messages, the fake emails, which will allow to trick trick users, online users, in where they can obtain information, personal information such as banking, accounts and whatnot. And this can be done like, maybe you might be browsing through, again, let's say social media, and you might see a pop-up saying, hey, congratulations, you have won maybe some let's say monetary gifts and whatnot. But however, in order to obtain it, acquire it, here is what they need. And sometimes, we might be, it might sound as, simple as saying, well, I cannot fall, further, but some of the mindset when this scam actually approach you, the excitement, the overdrive, you might forget, but look, I never partake in that, what I could win. And right there you go, you forget yourself and you click, and just like that, your device can be compromised. Also, not forgetting the ransomware, is like, a type of scam that where they can, especially for the businesses, the financial institutions, and we have seen it happen around, that where they can, gain access and even lock your account, the financial institution, where they're gonna demand a particular sum of money, that ransom, that way you can gain back full access of that. Then you have the social engineering, and what for you have the identity theft. Just a few, just to mention that what you can find around this season. So it's
let me ask this question before the break. With the area of information in the world today, and of course your departments, various departments with the public relations and everything, always sends out the information of folks to be alert and be aware of these things happen. Why are individuals still falling victims to these particular scams from time to time?
Well, as I say this sometimes, to me, people tend to fall victim of that because, as I said, it might just, how to say, songs so good that it sounds so authentic that no, they have to be part of that. They cannot miss out on these promotions.
Okay, yes.
Even though it may.
But you may have heard, of course, Detective Kutin get caught with it, but you still gonna do it.
Yeah.
You understand? Exactly. Because, as rightly stated, we have the National CSOT, right? The Grenada National Cybersecurity Incident Response Team, and they always send out Forever Mr. Darby Jovis.
Yes.
On a daily basis. Sometimes you might be browsing through Facebook, be it wherever he is, at his home, on the job, on the go, and he will take just a couple of seconds just to remind users, don't click the link, verify. Even there might be a particular scam out there. I've seen one recently with
the banks also.
Oh, exactly.
The banks.
Just to remind, but yet for people still, they might find, okay, no, but that's something to go to.
Is it the challenge that people go after also?
I
just want to get that. They just want to see if these are already things. Sometimes people want to make sure, is it for real for themselves? So they just want to feel it.
Exactly.
And get themselves scammed.
Well, look, for instance, we have seen one, what's the name of this one again? With the, what's the name of it? It's not in my head right now, but where people was investing and they were receiving back monies and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's Creators Alliance,
yes.
And yet for local persons, actually, fall victim despite he was already actually a lot in the population. It's a scam. So. As I say, sometimes one might get you and say, look, just go and take it, so you want to see it for yourself.
Because scammers sometimes do let one or two persons get comfortable.
Exactly.
After all, receive a couple of dollars, so which means makes him or get comfortable, and in order to, and the rest know they ain't gonna be comfortable.
After all, they will make it as authentic. Let it look real. This is a real deal. It's not no scam, but behind the scene, after all, long term, you do realize it's all a scam.
All right. We drew for a break. Let's take it. We'll be back. Stay with us, folks. To the Point Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back.
Because we have a lot of potential and a lot of good singing voices.
I think my school will win the competition because we have a lot of talent.
I think we can win this competition because we have a lot of great singers.
I think we can win this competition because we always try our best.
Grenada, get ready! GBN and the Ministry of Education presents Christmas Harmony 1.0. The inaugural primary school choir singing competition, December 5th, 1 p.m. The Grenada Trade Center. 15 schools, magical voices, and fierce competition. Cheer for your favorites in categories like Overall Champion, Most Creative, Best Solo, and Best Group. Entrance adults $10, children $5. Don't miss the holiday magic. Christmas Harmony 1.0, where Grenada's brightest and youngest voices shine. Be there. Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 21st and Sunday 22nd December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus
plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it.
Grenada Get Ready, GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly presents Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0, no better place to be. Be there.
Welcome back once again to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. We're moving into the final segment of today's edition of To The Point. And our next level on the conversation we want to talk, which is important, because targeting your property is from individuals or perpetrators is it's something that we know will happen around this time of the year. We're not saying it won't happen at all. We would like it not to, but it will happen. Folk just see, well, it's Christmas, and I saw GT bringing in a new TV, and GT's now home, or I saw something of a device that has been brought into his house via in a bag or something. Sometimes we are carelessly walking. I don't know if we want to show folks that we. I see just bought a new laptop or I bought that, and I'm just walking the road with it like that. And I know a particular time of the day GT's not home, so I feel, well, I want to get into his property. Let's talk about the ways that folks could prevent their properties from being intruded. You understand? Off air we were talking about the cameras and stuff, but that has gotten to a stage where it may not always prevent someone from not, wanting to come to your property. What else can of course homeowners, business establishments do now to prevent individuals from wanting to target their property?
Right, so I realize there's two questions there. So me as the first one, answer the first one. In respect to what I like to refer to as creating a shopper's catalog for thieves.
Yeah.
We do that a lot unknowingly. And when I say that, I mean this, that when you make your purchases, as you say, your TV and so forth, yes, you come with it. Everybody see it. Even worse to what we do now, having collected all our gifts, all our purchases on iPhone or whatever, we put it by the side of the road and display and create a catalog, for those who wishing to come and intrude, break and steal, right? So we want to guard against that. Dispose of your boxes in a manner that it is disguised, or it doesn't give an obvious list as to what you have stored inside for intruder. So that's one way we can guard against or reducing the potential of person intruding at your home. Now, with respect to businesses, and you said that we did discuss off air, and it's very important that we feel by itself having camera is sufficient. There's never one mechanism you can use is sufficient. If you can use a combination of mechanisms, and by that you may have your camera. Even in your camera itself, there's so much features, and I learned that many persons are not aware as the additional features you can utilize, thus making your camera, your surveillance system more effective.
Yes.
Simple as this. You can activate the feature that speaks to human figure detection.
Yeah.
Motion detection, even activating a light. If those cameras have light, we advise you have camera with light, so when they detect a motion or human figure, it will come on, and that would really, in fact, it adds to the deterrent.
Okay.
Or even alarms, right? And even the notification that comes through, because right now almost every camera I see these days have a app that comes with it, and by that you have it on your phone in real time. You're able to monitor. So when you activate these features, you get real-time notification, and you can check and see, okay, my camera just moved, because we know that thieves are come so prepared that they will try to maneuver in such a way, coming up from the scope, the view of the camera, and try to move the angles. But if you have a notification activated, you get that notification, and then you can monitor and say, there is a change. I need immediate response. Let me alert law enforcement. Let's have some intervention. Just reducing the possibility of you getting damages from your property being broken into, and ultimately your goods being lost. Right? And that goes for your vehicle, it goes for your homes, your businesses, and throughout. And so that's just a little piece again that we can try to implement, thus reducing the potential of you having lost or suffer a victim of intrusions.
All right. Anything you want to add to that?
Yes.
From the forensic part of it?
Yes. So just to add what my colleague said, for online also, it is essential to stay safe online. And although some of it was mentioned just briefly earlier, but just to re-emphasize, one, for your accounts or for the devices, always use strong or unique passwords. And when I say so, I mean always create passwords with a mixture of characters, in essence, like letters, be it capital letters or uppercase and lowercase, also numbers and symbols. Don't use the easy one that where scammers can guess, like for instance 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Other persons might on the viewers might say, well, who does that? Trust me, there are people who actually set passwords like that. Trust me. Also, don't reuse the same password for multiple accounts, because the scammer can, I realize they're looking for the next victim. They gain access to one account. Let me try to see if it's the same password that he is using for the other accounts. So you do that, just like that the other accounts can also be compromised. Right? Other factor which is very important, which I would emphasize on, the two-factor authentication. Your devices, your accounts. This is very, very important. Why? It adds that extra layer of security. So whatever transaction or whatever purchase you may tend to do, it always sends that passcode or whatever to your device, just to ensure that it is you who is actually making that purchase or whatnot. So the two-factor authentication is very important, even to your accounts too. Next, I always cannot forever stressing on this one. Think before you click. You will hear that a lot. How the URL, yes, it might look genuine. That promotion, it may sound great. That you're excited to see. Let me see what it's about. Again, always verify. It takes nothing away of reaching out to whatever establishment to say, hey, you are having some form of promotions. Look what I am seeing. So always, think before you click. Again, examine it. There most time will be some misspelled or strange characters in that address. You understand? So maybe
excuse me.
If there's supposed to be an I, they might remove the I and put a 1. If there's supposed to be an O in the address, it might be removed and put to a 0. Just a brief example. For the businesses, always keep your software. Even the homeowners also are persons with their devices. Important to keep your your device, the software up to date. Because having that update, it always creates extra security, or even fixes to there might be some loophole in that security that it actually corrects that. The antivirus or the firewalls, it adds extra protection to which can block on persons who are trying to gain access, as I always say, unauthorized access. Very, very important.
Something we didn't put a lot of attention to this morning, and it's important. Around this time of year, people have the tendency to have their personal devices on them, and for some reason or the other, they may get lost or leave it. So, how is it important to have proper security on your personal devices, your cell phone? Some people may think I'm guilty of it. I don't like passwords. Something. I just feel I should just move my phone and get into it. I'm guilty of that, so I don't put no lock code and stuff. I hope I'm not selling out too low. I don't do that. You understand? So I try to keep it up. But how important for individuals to make sure that devices are secured, especially when they're in public with it?
Yeah, it's very, very important because, as you see, most device owners, we tend to have use our device as I would say as our portable wallet, in the sense that when I say that, I mean that we have our banking information
and so forth,
your card information. So this device being not protected, in the event that you lost it, someone picks it up and realizes, hey, it's unlocked, meaning that there is no form of security. I can freely browse through it. What's can happen? They can get information, shop with it, use your device, and even have your accounts being compromised and whatnot. So it's very, very important to have.
Well, just to add a twist to that, to complement my colleague here, is this: that we always like to advise persons when we interact with them with your devices, and I say devices, whether it be your iTabs, your tablets, and so forth, whatever it is, cell phones, that when you set it up in such a way that you have an alternate email, right? And you activate your Find Me apps or features in the event, like you, GT, you lose your phone.
I wouldn't say that, but if I know I can find it if I get lost.
But a lot of
somebody
people
keeps it on and it's in some form of data connection connected that I can find.
Lovely, good, and that's what we will encourage. But what we have seen, a lot of people do not do that, and so render the device being lost, never found. So, should encourage the public, activate these features and utilize it as GT have, and we work forward from there.
I know it's important sometimes to do that, but sometimes you don't want the headache of always having to type in a password.
And I must say, I'm very happy you bring that, because trust me, a lot there are, persons out there who actually work with devices, as you rightly said, without a passcode.
I know it's important, and I understand the importance of it, but sometimes it's just my personal preference in terms of using it. You understand?
And sometimes we may tend to look at it. I have nothing to hide. I don't need a passcode, on your device. But what about your banking information, your personal information? That data is there.
I understand where you're coming from. Let's take our final break. When we come back, of course, we give the opportunity, because I see the phones are going already. 4352041 after the break. We give opportunity to our listeners and viewers if they do have a question or two to ask before we wrap today. Stay with us.
Real Value IGA.
Grenada Get Ready. GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly presents Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0. No better place to be. Be there.
Grenada. Get ready to celebrate culture, creativity, and community. It's the Camahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sates Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sates. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th, it's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sates Bus Terminal, Camahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture
in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
Welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers. We into the final segment of today's edition of To The Point. We have, of course, the Criminal Investigation Department with us this morning. And we're talking, prioritizing your home, your business, and your personal safety. Of course, we had lots of information shared with us this morning. The opportunity now is open to our listeners and viewers. If you do have a question or two you may like to ask, feel free to do it in this segment. We have a first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
I must say that the officer, your guest, has made a very important point on observation. And I was trying to enhance that. I can't tell you how to run the program. I'm wondering if, as far as observation is concerned, that's the point I want to make. If after work or sometime you get workers to be in the establishment, and you will get a police officer or choose people who can just perform with the camera on and get the employees to observe, make observation, take note, you question them, and you see how well they observe. And I think this is what is needed. And I would like that the police officer and so on to encourage children in the various schools all over the island to join the scout movement. I, as a child, learned that as a scout, and I have been able to use that very, very well in my job. So, again, I repeat, I can't tell you how to run your program, but at least these are one of the things you do to get the employees on their toes. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. I guess you understand what the caller is trying to mention.
Valid point. Noted. Duly noted.
435-2041. 435-2041. And it seemed like folks understand a lot of what we spoke about this morning. I'll get the drift of it, what we spoke about this morning. We have approximately 2 more minutes left on the program today. Anything else you want to say that we may have missed in terms of any further tips you may want to throw that we may have missed that you want to make a reference to before we wrap this morning?
Okay, so in terms of personal safety, what I want to say is that we know that people will be attending a lot of parties, right? I would encourage the public, if you're going out to party, travel in groups, right? Be each other's keepers, right? Also, if you're if you're consuming alcohol, and you don't know your limit, you're intoxicated, or the person that you're traveling with or you're partying with is intoxicated, know that that person cannot give you consent, right? So somebody who is intoxicated cannot give consent to you, right? For the parents, monitor your children, pay attention to what they're engaging in, pay attention to the activities that they're going out to, and again, be each other's keeper.
All right. Recruited, anything you want to say before we take a wrap this morning?
Yes. Well, our topic today, I believe, is very timely, right? Prioritizing home, business, cyber security. It is something that we always have to speak about to remind ourselves not to just get complacent and take our personal life, our investments, our property for granted. And by taking it granted, mean that we fail to take necessary steps in securing our assets, ourselves. So I want to encourage the public that anything that you may need advice on, and I say that in respect to even installations of cameras, we do a lot of times we give advice, recommendations, because sometimes we see people, home owners, business owners, they may install cameras in a position that is not of best coverage. The lighting might be poor. The area it is not recommended. So we do consultations, or if necessary, we do referrals. We want to encourage persons during the season. If you see anyone who's suspicious, any suspicious activities, behavior, report it to law enforcement. And do not just let anyone into your home. Do checks and balance. It's something that is very important. Not because someone having a Nawasa jersey, they're from Nawasa, or they're from Flo. Do checks and balance. Secure your home. It's your life that we're trying to make sure is kept in a manner that is long-lived and out of harm's way. All right. So with that, I say, thank you.
You mentioned something that folks may not think they can do. Call the police for advice in some of these installations. You may think, I may have to call an IT company or something like that. And if folks may give that particular thought pattern and say, I don't have to call the police to ask somebody to put my camera. You understand? So look at that. I mean, that bit of information, I surely hope that listeners and viewers may make use of it.
Yeah, so as I say, we give consultation or we do referrals.
Yeah, consult them and they say, we could probably recommend somebody who would put that in a proper place.
Exactly.
All right. So crime fighting is really collective, huh?
Yes.
It's collective effort.
Yes. Well, I think that's what we're going to take a wrap for today. I'm not sure. You have anything you want to say before we wrap, or of course, we touch all grounds already?
Yes, I just want to add in just reminding persons, be safe online. We know that school is on holiday and the children will be spend lots of time on the devices, and they can be mostly vulnerable because a link might appear, not knowing or not understanding that safety precaution, and they go and they click it. So parents always monitor the traffic of your children devices. Also, as stated earlier, you can enable the parental control, so you can always be ahead in terms of knowing what sites they visit or what your child or your children do on these devices. And saying all this, I just want to wish everyone a happy Christmas and just be safe. Both keep your property safe and be safe online, and just wish everyone the best.
All right, and we say thank you for that, and I want to thank our listeners and viewers for spending time with us this morning. We're going to see again for another edition of To The Point. That's what we say goodbye for today. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say goodbye.